Hey everyone, I just want to share with you some in-game footage of some of the new ships that are being implemented in the 3.5 update. And here's the Heartseeker in all of its glory. I had my reservations about this ship at first, but I definitely love the graphics. And it's got an interesting loadout if that suits your playstyle. Obviously it's all fixed, heavy-hitting weapons that are slow to fire. So once again, if that's your thing. And here's a little bit of a close-up of the graphic here, a little bit more detail, and I'm going to walk over to the other side and show you that. It's a little bit more washed out in the sunlight over here. Kind of harder to see. But yeah, you could not have picked a better landing pad to show this off at. I love the lighting on this. Let's climb inside. Take a little spin around. It's basically the exact same ship as a Super Hornet, other than the graphics and the different loadout. But the interior is exactly the same model. Handle's exactly the same. Ooh, new engine sounds though. Ooh, that sounds nice. Let's take a little spin around Alisar. Good little ship. I miss my Super Hornet. And here we have the Reliant Sen for all of your science needs. Entrance is as in all the other variants in this back area. Now all the areas on the left are the same. Here, this is what's different. This area on the right there, that's a little science area, and this is more sciencey stuff. Unfortunately, science gameplay has not been worked out, so none of those have any real purpose right now, but fingers crossed, soon enough. We'll take a look at it from a couple of different angles. The real difference in the variants, at least as far as the outer hull goes, is the paint job and what you're going to find on the two extremes of the wings, like where you're going to find mounted on the turrets. I don't think I'm going to take off in this one. I'm going to take off and fly around to the next one. Whoa, nice. Thank you, buddy, for livening this up a little bit. That's the great thing about Alisar right now. There's so many explosions going on with people learning the new flight model. It is quite a sight to see. It's worth bringing a lawn chair, setting it up, and just hanging out. Just watch the show as it unfolds. And this is the Mako, which is the news van variant. And this is one of two of the Reliant variants that I'm actually very interested in now. It presents, let's just say, a rather unique gameplay style that no other ship in the entire game presents. And it definitely appeals to a niche kind of audience, but I think I fit into that category. And, I would love to be able to go out and do news reports and broadcast them to people in-game, to the rest of the Star Citizen community, which I think would be a lot of fun. And definitely represents a different day in the verse. Indeed. Now, I was thinking it was actually difficult to make money doing news broadcasting. But if you think about it, they could almost copy the YouTube template. Whereas if you're broadcasting, people are going to be watching it over like an MFD or your Mobi Glass, and depending on how many people are watching at that time, would determine how much money you're going to be making off each broadcast. So if you had a large audience of people listening to you, you could make bank. It would definitely represent a very different kind of career path for you to pursue. And a very interesting one at that. Okay, I'm pulling in right now. I'm not using the throttle, unfortunately, which I should be doing. I'm just kind of using the strafe to line up old school like I'm used to doing. But if you use the throttle, it can do these very minute, subtle movements, and you can just ease in and land very easily. It's much more intuitive. I think I'll show you on the next ship when I'm flying around. Unfortunately, it's too easy to fall back on old habits. That's what I'm doing right now. Hey, to you too. Alright, let's power down. And I realize I didn't show much of the interior of this ship, or anything at all, really. That's because there's not really much to show. There's just that one desk that you sit at when you're doing your new stuff that controls the camera, and it's not really functioning right now. Plus, the interior lights don't turn on for some reason. I'm sure it's just like a little bug, but even when you have the ship running the power on, the interior cabin lights don't turn on. Which is, makes it a little difficult to show things off. Yeah, there's the camera there. And the headlamp just doesn't quite cut it as a light source. Not inside there, at least. So yeah, just move on. And here we got the Tana, which is the light fighter variant. And the more I'm looking at this, the more interested I'm becoming. Let's jump inside. Now this represents being able to do every kind of mission that's available in the game right now. And you have a place for your armor, there's room for storage right over here where you can put a box so you can do box missions or just store a little bit of light cargo. You got a place to put your weapons, you got beds on the left side. You also have the famous Star Citizen shower bathroom combo. So all survival mechanics can be taken care of. Everything but eating, I guess. But everything else, and the ability to do all the missions right now, which I said before that are available. And when I say all the missions you can pick up on your Moby Glass. That's what I'm talking about. So I'm not talking about doing salvage or mining or things like that, which aren't available as missions. So I think I just needed to clarify that. Alright, let's check out its weapons loadout. And you can see from here, it's a bit beefier than it was before. It's even got a missile loadout too. The only thing I want to check out is it didn't have any of the turrets mounted onto the wings. You can see here it's got 2 single weapons mounted onto each side. And supposedly you can have a turret on one side, and if you have access to another one or purchase one in game, you could put 2 turrets onto it, one on each side. So I want to look into that and see what's going on. Yeah, it's turning out to be a lot better ship than I originally gave it credit for. Yeah, I like the look of it. I like the uniqueness of it. I like the fact that it's a lot more equipped for battle than I originally thought it was going to be. Alright, all systems are go. Let's take off here in a second. Here, we're off. Yeah. Let's get into flight configuration and move. Let's putz around Alsar a little bit. I'm just going to show you how it handles. It feels very similar to a lot of the other ships. It still has that very drifty quality, and that's the main thing with the new flight model, is drift. It almost feels like you're in decoupled mode all the time, because you drift so much when you're flying the ship. Now the thing to think about when you're flying is the mouse wheel sets a prearranged speed limiter, and that sets what speed you want the ship to go at, but you're not going to actually achieve that speed until you actually press the C button. And the C button controls cruise control. The minute you engage cruise control, the engines are going to speed up and try to achieve that level that you've set with the limiter. So the minute you press C, you're always going to be going. And then you can use the mouse wheel to speed up or slow it down. But the minute you press C again, disengages the engines and you're going to start slowing down to a crawl. Well, actually you're going to slow down to a stop. Unfortunately, your ship has got a lot of momentum behind it now with this new flight control system, so it's going to take a while to stop. So space brake is your friend. Get used to using that. I have mine mapped to the space bar. I don't know what it is by default anymore, but I end up using that a lot. And I also use the limiter when I'm coming on approach to bring down my speed. And when you're approaching something like the landing pad itself, you can bring it all the way down to like 1 or 2 and just slowly crawl as you come up to it. It's really handy once you get used to it. Little intimidating to a lot of new people when they start jumping in because they don't know what's going on with it, but once you get a handle for it, it's very intuitive, very easy to use. See, right now I'm just kind of slowly going in. Having permission to land would be nice first. Let's get that. Let's get into our landing mode.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
You see, I'm just kind of easing in. Take down the throttle and land. Super easy. Perfect landing. And you'll see inside there, this is the female model, which they've also implemented with this new update. Yeah, I want to take a look at this wing here before I take off. Yeah, single mounted weapon. It's the same for the other side too, isn't it? Yeah. And there's the weapon that's underslung under the wing. And the missiles are embedded into the wing itself, if I remember correctly, so you can't switch out the missile rack for it. So you're kind of stuck with whatever payload it has. Alright, as a bonus, I headed over to ArcCorp. I couldn't resist. We're pulling into Area 18 right now. And the main reason I didn't show the main journey over to here is it is a little glitchy getting through the atmosphere. And I didn't want to show that off. I'm not here to show off its flaws. I'm here to show off the beauty of the game. And there's that big mass of buildings. Now, right in the center of it's a starport. Man, I'm sorry, the engines are really, really loud now. They've really punched the noise every time you step on the throttle, man. That just boom! Cracks your eardrums. Very difficult to talk over. Now, I've been edging to do this ever since I saw that RTV episode where they talked about kind of flying in between these building tops. Man, that's loud. Let's go for an exterior view. Alright, time to butter up the sides. Oh yeah, that was everything I thought it would be. I'm gonna do a lot more ducking and weaving though. So unfortunately, it's very hard to see where the no-fly zone is right now because there was no visual graphic accompanying it, so I went a little too low and just blew up. So I tried it again. I want to come back and now we're right above the airport. Yeah, that is beautiful looking. And if you're having trouble finding it, just look for the other planes. They'll all be congregating around the area we're supposed to be landing at. And you just call for permission like you would any other starport. Now, unfortunately, they're not answering the call when you try to land and request permission. So I can't actually land and get into the starport and show it around right now, but I can show around the outside of it. So you see I just clicked the button to land, but it's just going to hold me in a perpetual landing pattern right now. And that's what I get for being part of the first wave to show this off. I'm sure that's going to be fixed the next time I come back here, so I can show this whole area off proper. But for right now, I just want to take a look around the outside of it. Give you a little idea of what the view is. And give, like I said, a little teaser shot of Area 18 and just ArcCorp in general. I know some people have said, what's the point in taking an entire planet and completely covering it in buildings? Well, for me, this represents if you could cover an entire planet, from that point on, you could make cities of any size you want. Because you've already proven you can do the extreme. Now, if they wanted to make 7 cities on a planet, or 5 or 6 or whatever, they can do it. And they've already proven that they can do it. And they can make it from whatever size they want and make it stretch as far as they want. To me, it's a very powerful tool and something very important to show off and prove that you can do. So I'm just going to be doing a slow sweep of the surrounding area and show it off a little bit more. Yeah. Oh, those engines kicking in. Yeah, this is a huge starport, and I cannot wait to drop my landing gear and get inside, show it off proper. Yeah, just take a look at that, man. Gotta adjust the right time of the day, too. Well, truth be told, there's no nighttime cycle on this area put in right now. It's just like Hurston was when it was first implemented. But man, very, very pretty. And that's the main airport area right there that I'm pointing my reticule at. So I'm just gonna pull in slightly more. Just show it off before I take off. But everybody, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the footage and you want to see more. This is a huge content dump into the game, and there's so much more to show. I'm Law of the West, saying take care, everyone.